There we go, we're at 1/100th of a second, f1.8, ISO 100, 60 frames per second. And that leads us into the next part of this video. The settings that we're using here. I don't think I got this camera just straight. Whatever. I shoot at 60 FPS. I find that to be very important to me. It's not a mistake, it is very much on purpose. Why is that? Well, I find that watching real people do real things at 24 frames per second is incredibly distracting. Once you get used to smooth 60 FPS video, it's really hard to go back. And so I've been doing this for probably 4 years now that I've been on 60 FPS. For a lot of client work, I'll use 30 FPS. If it's something that really has to be cinematic, I will shoot at 24 FPS. But each of these frame rates, neither one of them is a catch-all. And I find that a lot of the argument about frame rates is missing something. 24 FPS is great. It's great for cinema, it's great for special effects, it's great for dramatizing things because it allows your brain to fill in the gaps. But for real life, for instructional, for sports, for relating to someone, 24 FPS just isn't real. It's choppy, it's hard to follow action, it creates a barrier between you and the audience, between me and you. And so 30 FPS, I'm okay with that for YouTube. 60 FPS, I find it's the best thing, so I was really happy when Tony and Chelsea finally moved over to 60 FPS. I think they get what I'm talking about here. They didn't get it from me, although I'd love to claim that, that is clearly not the case. And so, using 60 FPS, everything is smooth and natural, and honestly, if YouTube could support it, if cameras had the right settings for that, I would film in 120 FPS. In real time, not slow-mo. Because the human eye is capable of picking up things up to that speed. And so things would be very natural. With 120 FPS and HDR, I think that is actually the future of YouTube. Do I think it's the future of cinema? Probably not. Not until special effects and acting really catch up, but even then, probably not. But for YouTube, I think that really engaging and interacting with the audience without barriers, without pretense, natural motion is really the way to go. I catch a lot of flack sometimes. People will watch the beginning of a video and be like, oh, this guy is clearly biased against this thing or that thing. This guy clearly hates Sony. I have a lot of money invested in Sony cameras. I want them to succeed. And so, yeah, I'm hard on them. But as a reviewer on YouTube, it's not my job to say nice things about everything. It's my job to find out where things can fail. It's my job to find those little nitpicks that for you might be fine, but for some people might be a deal breaker. Because everyone has a different workflow, and if I can find all those little things that if someone were to buy a $4,000 camera and not notice for 2 weeks during the return period, then suddenly realize that there is one little thing that is a complete deal breaker for them, and now they're stuck with it, it's my job to prevent that from happening. Do I watch other people's reviews? Yes, I do. I will watch a lot of reviews. And as such, I will avoid talking about things that I feel like other people have talked about ad nauseum. If it's already been greatly covered, because I get things after everyone else does, I don't have much relationship with manufacturers, I don't get early product samples, and so I know you've already watched those videos, so I'm going to try to talk about other things. I'm going to try to find more issues that they haven't found. And if they are very serious things, yes, I will continue to talk about it. And so that's how I do my reviews. At this point, because of the position that I'm in, I feel like I have a particular amount of ground to cover. And so I'm constantly reevaluating that, and let me know what you guys think. And so sometimes, yes, I can come off as being negative, but I am looking for the negatives. You can read the spec sheet and see the positives. When a manufacturer releases something, they broadcast the positives. The positives aren't hard to find. It's the negatives that we have to dig out. It's the issues, the deal breakers, the workflow problems that us reviewers, it's our job to find. And so at the end of the day, my ratings, however, will reflect the ultimate value and effectiveness of a product. So you'll often see that I seem negative up front, but then the rating will seem high. That's because I'm only looking for problems. The manufacturer tells me what the things that aren't problematic are. And that's why I do what I do. There you have it. Oh, there's one thing I missed. There's another tripod over here that I use for the table shots. I'm constantly reevaluating how to do the table shots because, I don't know, I don't really want to attach a camera to the ceiling up here. I don't think my wife would much care for that either. So until next time, let me know if you have any questions about how and what I do here. Let me know if this slightly crooked camera is bothering you as much as it is me. I really need to fix that before I film my next video. So until next time, I'm gonna go take some photos.